Hey, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Tropical Habs back here today for a brand new video. So today we're here to still talk about the Montreal Canadiens. The Canada versus Croatia game just finished. I'm devastated, man. That was horrific. That was terrible, terrible. So yeah, I've watched 45 games of qualification just for it to be 2 games of World Cup, and now they're eliminated. So yeah, they're playing against my other country, Morocco, in the next game. So it's going to be interesting. I might switch from Canada to Morocco. Who knows? I'm just kidding. I'm gonna root for Canada, but like still wanted to make a quick talk about the soccer game, the football game between Canada and Croatia. I just finished watching this. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about Joel Edmundson. But before getting into that, I invite you guys to subscribe. One of the fastest Habs reporter on YouTube. So if you want to be updated with everything that's going on with the Montreal Canadiens, I suggest you to subscribe and turn on post notification. Let's try and get 50 likes also on this video. That would be amazing. So yeah, we're here today to talk about Joel Edmundson, about the Montreal Canadiens. And I've looked at this, and since he came back, he didn't start the season. He was injured, back injury, and since he came back, he is not looking at the best of his form, in my opinion. He hasn't been the best defenseman for the Canadiens. He was supposed to be the main piece on the defense for the Canadiens, and he's been struggling. I mean, he's been struggling. He's been blocking shots. He's been pretty solid defensively, but he makes a lot of mistakes, and his transition and breakout pass are not ideal, in my opinion, and that's not fitting into what the Canadiens are trying to do, in my opinion. They're trying to get really good skaters on defense that can play the offense, the defense, be good in transition, make good breakout passes. And Joel Edmundson is not that. I mean, he's the guy in front of the net that's blocking shots, and that makes turnover, that gets over speed because he's slow as hell. So I was just looking at this, and I'm just like, I feel like the defense was better when it was Goulet, Harris, and Jacky playing on the left. I don't know if it's just me, but I thought the defense was a lot better at the start of the year when it was Goulet, Harris, and Jacky on the left side. And Matheson still has 3 years left on his contract. I think even 4 years, 3 or 4 years left on his contract. So you can't really trade him. There's not a lot of teams that are going to want a guy like Matheson for 3 years. And Joel Edmundson has 2 years left on his contract. And I was looking at this and I was just like, all right. Since he's here, Goulet's been playing on the right, Harris been playing on the right, Jacky has been playing on the right, and they haven't been performing as good because they're not playing at the right position. They're not playing at their natural position. And since they can't really trade Matheson, and I feel like they kind of have to keep Matheson at the moment, he's been good in some ways, bad in some ways, but like I think that he's going to be the number one defenseman for at least the next 2 years in Montreal. David Savard plays on the right, so it doesn't really change anything. You need to keep him. He's been solid this year. So I'm just like, you need to get rid of the defenseman. You can't really get rid of Matheson because of his contract. You need to keep Savard because he's playing on the right, and Barron and all of those guys are not ready yet to play at the NHL level. So there's only Joel Edmundson left, and I was looking at this, and I'm just like, you might have to trade him sooner than expected, like at the next trade deadline, because the guy's taking a spot from a young guy, and I can't really see them sending Harris, Goulet, or Jacky to the AHL, because I feel like 3 of those guys are NHL ready and are too good to be playing in the AHL. It wouldn't be that bad to see Harris or Jacky go to Laval. That's not what I want to see. I want to see them staying in each other because I think, in my opinion, they have been more solid overall than what Edmundson's been doing. So I want them to stay in Montreal. It wouldn't be the end of the world if they go finish the season in Laval. But I feel like by trading Edmundson, you could make a spot for one of those guys to go back to their natural position, like Goulet, like Harris, like Jacky, and Like I said, I feel like they've been doing a better job than Edmundson so far this year, and you could get a decent return for Edmundson. I mean, he's a big guy. You can retain some salary. He's a guy that won a Stanley Cup and that went to the Stanley Cup final with the Canadiens also. So he's an experienced guy that you need to have on your team to go deep in the playoffs. He's a guy that's useful in the playoffs. But the Canadiens are not going in the playoffs. That's unlikely. Yes, they're close at the moment from a playoff spot, but some of the teams in the Eastern Conference have been playing below expectations, and I think that things are going to get fixed in the next couple of weeks. And I think that the Canadiens are going to go more downhill than upwards. I really do think that they're not going to make the playoffs. If they were in the Western Conference, they would have had a chance, in my opinion, because the teams are a bit weaker and they would have got easier matchups. But yeah, they have still 4 games to play against Boston, 4 games to play against Tampa Bay. Those are going to be tough games. They have games against Panthers. The big teams are coming in the Canadian schedule after Christmas. So it's going to be really, really hard for them to make the playoffs. So I would trade Joel Edmundson at the trade deadline to make a spot for a young guy and to get a decent return, because I feel like you could get a decent return for Joel Edmundson if you trade him to a team that needs a defenseman, a bit like the Panthers last year with Ben Sherrod. They got a decent return, and I feel like the Canadiens could do the same with Joel Edmundson by trading him away. So yeah, that's my opinion on this. Give me yours in the comments below. It's been your boy Tropical Habs, and I'll see y'all later for another video. Bye-bye. Have a nice rest of your day, and yeah, enjoy.